This is Gemara Zevachim Daf Ayin, and we're holding on the very top of Ayin Amud Aleph. As we continue learning the halachas of Nevela, as we'll see, we like all the learning to be an incredible schos refuah shalema for Gabriel Simcha, Miriam Ahuva, B'Seich Sha'ar Chayle Yisrael. Says the Gemara, Hi Nami. This also really continuing the conversation, the chaylev of an animal which is not kosher. Says the Gemara, we can learn it out from the fact that it is metame tebiklei mi v'chaylev neveila. The pasuk says you're not allowed to eat it. So what does that teach us? Mi she'isurei misham bal ta'oichal. That which is also that you cannot eat chaylev neveila. Yatzasazu. This case, the chaylev of a non-kosher animal. Why can you not eat it? She'isurei misham bal ta'oichal chaylev neveila. That's not why you cannot eat it. Why not? Elamisham, the reason is because tamei. Because you're not allowed to eat an animal which is not kosher. So we see from there, and therefore the word treif on both psukim is going to be extra. And we can learn out the din that we need. So says the Gemara, you're right. Really, the word treifa is not necessary. But explains the Gemara a new reason that still the word treifa is not extra. Why? Elahai treifa, 4 lines down, we need it for a different din. La asuye, it comes to include chaya, a wild animal. That the chaylev of a wild animal is not mitame. What's the havamina? Sal keteitach mina misha chalvay aser ubesarai mutter. I would have thought that when is this halacha that the chaylev is not mitame relevant? I would have thought it's only in a case that the chaylev is aser, but the basar is mutter. Yatzasazu, this comes to exclude this case, the case of a chaya, a wild animal, shechelvai ubesara mutter, that both the chaylev and the meat are mutter. So that's what I would have thought. Kamash Malan. So that's what we need the extra pasuk of treifa to teach us. No, the chayos, wild animals, are also included in that which the pasuk is talking about. That is not metame. Amr le Maishana, says the Gemara. 1 second. What is different? Temeya dein chelva chalik mi besara. What is different about a animal which is a temeya? It's not kosher, which you're telling me is excluded. Why? Because the chaylev is not different than the meat. But wait, chaya has that same property. Chaya nami ain't chaylev chaluk. Maybe saras. Why she need a separate pasuk? V'oid, and furthermore, says the Gemara, the Torah says, v'achal lo yisaychluha. You cannot eat it, which shows us that the chaylev of the nevela of a kosher wild animal is yes metamei. So says the Gemara. So what do we do with the word treifa nachamal? Ela amar Abaye treifa legufei yitzchak. Guess what? You need treifa for the pasuk himself to show us that the chaylev of a treifa, again, that dies without the appropriate shchita, is going to be tahar, and it will not be mitame. Sheloi taimar. Don't say 10 lines down. The first one is taimar. Don't say oil v'tmei asura mechayim utreif asura mechayim. A not kosher animal as well as a treifa are both similar, that they're aser bechayim when they're alive. Matmei chelva tamei av treifa chelva tamei. So says the Gemara, to show us that this is not the case, the Torah comes along, and the Torah writes this extra word of treifa to show us that the chilul of a treifa that did not have a shchita is not tamei, and rather is indeed a tahor. Frak the Gemara, but wait, if what you're saying is true, iachi, hi nami mi bai, then we need the word treifa. In the case of an avila of an oif, we need as well that what? Shalai taima hel vaiv tamei asar ba'achila. Utreva asura bechila ma'av tame eina mitame. Av treva eina mitame. That's what you would have thought. V'oid, and the second reason, mi kalamilav treva mitmeya. Tameya la hisla shasai kosher. Treva hisla shasai kosher. There's another reason. A tameya is fundamentally different. Why? Because there never was a moment that it could have been kosher. Meaning the moment this animal is born, it is a tameya. From that moment, it can never be kosher. In law, shasai kosher was a treifa. I had a shasai kosher before it died. So maybe you'll tell me you're talking about a unique case where the animal was born from the moon treifa. Why are you going to tell me that? There are cases that are not. Meaning you're going to tell me a unique ukimta. I'll find you a case of an animal which mi beten was a treifa. But guess what? That's not inclusive to all animals. There are plenty of animals that mi beten are not. So says the Gemara, you're right. Elam Arava, another reason what we do with the word treifa. Ha Torah Amra, says the Torah. Yava Yisr Nevela v'yachol al Isr Chelev. The Isr Nevela should come and take effect at the top of the Isr of Chelev. Yava Yisr Treifa v'yachol al Isr Chelev. So why do we need both? Says the Gemara, Tzrichi. We need the word Nevela, we need the word Treifa as follows. Ashmina Nevela, I would have thought that what? We shouldn't have metama. I will Treifa even like. V'yashmina Treifa, I would thought Misham the Isura Mechayim. Av nevela emalai. Therefore, tzricha, we need the word nevela, and we need the word treifa in the pasuk. Continues the Gemara. Let's turn to Rameir. We finally finished Shitas Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, but Rameir, hi treifa my avilei. What does Rameir do with the word? Explains the Gemara by lelamute shchita shehi lifnei. It comes to exclude. We have an oif of chulin that was shechted inside the azara. That the halach is going to be. It's not going to be metame beis avliha. V'Rav Yehuda, Treva Achrinik is another pasuk. V'Rameir chalamute shchita shilafnim. One teaches us the din. V'chalamute oif tamei. And Nachmal v'Rav Yehuda, what does he say? Minavela nafkalei. V'Rameir, why can't he learn out from the Vela? Nevela ma'avalei l'shir. He needs it for to teach the din of l'shir achilas b'kezayis. The shir, says the Gemara, how much one has to consume in order to be included in the Isser. Says the Gemara, v'tevle mikra kama mid'afke rachman b'lashan achila chalish achila b'kezayis chalishir achila b'chlei achilas bras. So says the Gemara, that's why we need two different words. It's two different shiurim. And sal kedetachamina. What's the reason that Ketechilis Ras applies here? I would have thought, I would have thought if it even takes longer, because it's a Chiddush HaKra. So maybe it should even be Metame if it's longer. Kamash Malan, that is not the case. Says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, 3 lines from the white lines. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the pasuk of Chelev. Tanu Rabbanan, v'Chelev nevela v'Chelev treifa. The Torah says a Chelev nevela and a treifa you cannot eat. V'Chelev behema tahira akasa medaber. What is the pasuk referring to? The Chelev of a behema which is tahar. The Torah is teaching us that even though it's a nevela, it is not mitame. Again, we're within the same sugya, figuring out whether the fact that it's not a kosher shchita doesn't make it as if it was an avila that it was just killed, and therefore yes, be matame or no. Says the Gemara, so explains the Gemara, tiher mechlal shchuta, v'tiher mechlal chelev, ma shekishet tiher mechlal shchuta, it has to be a kosher animal. Or maybe not. As the Gemara often says, how do you know? So responds the Gemara, Amrit, So it explains the Braisa, Sheba b'derech zu, he b'te'oira. If you continue down this conversation, we're talking about a tahira. Sheba b'derech zu, he temeya. So because of that, Talmud Loimar says the Torah, treifa. This is the reason why we need the actual word treifa. Mishish b'mina treifa to show us that there's something within this min that is a treifa. And oitzi, as atameya, we exclude that shein b'mina treifa. But v'lois is a chaya sheish b'mina tameya. Tamaloymar va'achal loy seichlua misha chel va'aser b'sara moter yotzeh yotzeh chaya shachal b'sara moter. End of Brisa. So says the Gemara after a long and lengthy Brisa, Amar Rav Yaakov Barabba l'Rav Elameata, based on that what you're saying, Nevelas behema ta'iro ditimeya, the nevel of a kosher animal is only that which is going to be tamei. Nevelas behema tameya, loy mitama, you're going to tell me that a nevel of behema ta'ira is more tamei than a nevel of behema tameya? Says Rav Yaakov Barabba l'Rav, I cannot fathom such a thing. So Amar Le, Rava responds, Kama Sabi Shibeshta Ba. How many of the elders made a mistake? Seifa son, Benevelas Oif Tamei. You got your comparison wrong. The Seifa is not talking about a regular nevela of a Tamei, but rather nevela of an Oif Tamei. Continues the Gemara, Amar Rav Yechlan, diving a little bit deeper into Shitas Rabbi Meir in the Mishnah, that Malika done on an oif that was a treifa will make it that it's not tamei. Amar Rav Yechlan loitia Rabbi Meir, when Rabbi Meir said it's not tamei if you did Malika on this oif, ela b'tmimim, it's only with an unblemished bird. Avu balei mumin lohi. For Rav Elazar now, if you live balei mumin. It's Ranami, we learn similarly, Amar Rabibi, Amar Rav Elazar, Mitara, Yerameir, Bebalei Mumin, Vafilu Be'avazin, Geese, Vetarne, Goilim. They're all going to be included. They're all going to be included. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Based on that which Rav Elazar has just said, Ba'i Rav Yirmiyah, Araf, Eiz, Mahu. If one did Arifa, Egla Arufa, you have to crack the neck of the goat. Mahu. What is the halacha? Does it have Tomas Neveila? Is this similar to that which we just said? Avazim Mitarne Goilim. Avazim Mitarne Goilim Taima Mai. Timina Doifais Nenu. Avazim Mitarne Goilim. What is the reason that when you do Malika there's no Tuma? Because it's a type of bird. Aval Eiz Lamina Da Golim Nenu. But an Eiz, says the Gemara, the goat is not the same thing as a calf, and therefore, maybe Agla Rufudi has Timitame. Oidelma mina de behemu. No, Seif Kol Seif is the type of behema. So what do we do with the Shaila Yosef Ravdimi, the Kamer La Shemaitza? Amrle Abaye says Abaye Mechlal Degla Rufa Tairi. So it comes out, based on that what you're saying, that an Egla Rufa is going to be tar. That the fact that you cracked the neck, that you did the Arifa, does not make it Tameya, even though you can't eat it. But it won't have a din of Tomas Nevela. Rav Dimi says, yes, Amrlian indeed. Amri Devei Rav Yanai Kapara Ksivba Kekachim. The Torah says Vegla Rufa that's Kapara like Kachim, and therefore just like Kachim don't have a din of Tomas Nevela, so too will Egla Rufa. Quoted the pasuk, you can't eat it. Chelev shal shara niskol ve'egla rufa. There it is. Minayin that you can't eat it. Tamulam recall chelev. V'isal gedaitach, and the Gemara articulates its kasha. If you're gonna tell me that what egla rufa ta'iri, there's no din of tama. He ta'ira v'chelva temeya. Says the Gemara, is that possible? Answers the Gemara, heicha da'arav mi'arif. Says the Gemara, loi it's rechlei. A case where it had egla rufa, that's not what the Tana is talking about, that is tar. Ki etzrech is eicha shachta mishchat, where it was shechted. V'tehane le shchita l'tayra midin avela. Says the Gemara, the Shechita is going to make an Anavela. Loy Tzricha, says the Gemara, you're right, Shemesa. B'chlal de Mechayim Asura. In Amar Rav Yanai, Gvol Shamati, V'shachachti, V'nizbin Chavraya, L'meimar, Yuritel, Nachal Eisan, Hiva Seres. Going down to Nachal Eisan, that's what they perform, the Arufa. That's what make it, that is what it is going to make it. Asar B'hanara. Hajon Aloch Chatas Oif. We'll pick it up in the 8th parak. The next year, B'siyata Dishmaya.